This is going to be a long episode, but please stick through it because there is so much that we would like to talk about, and all of it, in my opinion, is good, and I want to hype this convention up because it has impressed me that much, and I really, really want to come back next year. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I will at least come back in the future because this convention so far is the highlight of the year. This is my number one convention of the year so far. We'll see how the others do, but right now, Momocon is very top of the leaderboard, which means Asen's at the bottom. Oh, hometown first con. Oh, how far you have fallen. Hello. Monado revert.
Blast ya.
Instant replay. Oh God, we're sober. I swear to God.
Well, we just got back from concert, so
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Spring's a little.
Yeah.
Having some good vibes.
Exactly.
Good vibes.
Anyway, hello, welcome today. Blah, 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 blah. God, I can't speak today. Hello, welcome to today's episode where we are going over our experience at Momocon. It's been interesting. I can't say that I have anything bad to say about this. And considering that the last 2 episodes of this that we've done has very much been like we've been middle for the most part. I feel like Amkey, even though that was the first one and we got off topic a lot on that one, we were very positive with that con. Asen was very middling. But Momocon, I will be coming back.
Why do you like
Why do I like it? Oh my God. Well, how about we tie in with last episode? Sean, how's the hotel?
What if I told you? What if I told you? You guys might not believe this, but trust me. What if I told you we're at the Hyatt?
What better?
But this time we're at the Hyatt Atlanta, which is like 25 years in the future compared to the Hyatt Regency O'Hare. Sit on that for a moment.
This is what. Oh God, I'm gonna go into this in a minute.
It's cheaper. We're here for more nights. We have amenities. We have lights on the ground for when we walk and get up to go pee at night. There's an underground access to food court.
Is like actually really good.
That was a discovery from today. I already said it was cheaper. Spacious. It's probably the most important thing.
Later.
Spacious. This setup, spacious.
Hold up.
Very, very
You
spacious.
failed to do last time.
What do you mean? My way was just different. Don't judge. I think in creative ways.
We got so much room. We got a balcony. Say hi, Tech Boy Jacob. Yep.
He's like, yo.
Yeah, and then back there, there's like a whole.
We got granite, or what is this?
Back
Marble?
there, there's like a whole ass closet.
This is marble, right? This is marble countertop, right?
I don't know.
It's like, I'm pretty sure it's marble. But the same goes for the bathroom, the sink. The water's all good. The toilet, like, I don't know. I don't want to go too in depth, but like.
The tub is huge.
It's like, and they had the correct room when we checked in. Like,
That's the most important part.
oh yeah, they had the correct room.
That's the most important part.
And I'm just like, my expectations weren't high, but
they've been met or exceeded.
So I will preface it with this. The Hyatt is not the main hotel for this convention, so if you do stay at the Hyatt Atlanta, it is a little bit of a walk. I believe the Omni is the one that hosts the hotel, which based on how, we'll go into details of why we think it's good, but next time, we're going to probably go for that.
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, coming here was an experience, at least for all of us, because we just had different experiences. Yes. I flew in because unfortunately I don't have an extra day to kill just in my personal life and in my work life. I can't be taking that much PTO. But yeah, if anyone at my job sees this, no, you didn't. But yeah.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
That's just an inside joke for all of us. Yeah. But anyway, so I flew here. Flew in at I left my house at 4 a.m. Got to the airport at like 5. Oh God, that was an experience. I realized I forgot the microphones. Tried to call my wife to be like, because we live 10 minutes away from the airport. Because of public transit and all that, it took me a little bit longer to get there. But yeah, no, I called it because I'm like, hey, I forgot the microphones because one of them broke, and I was trying to get it fixed at my job. Couldn't do it, and I left it literally right next to my bag. Literally, I know exactly where it is because it was charging, and I had it ready to go. I was just gonna grab it and go because I was gonna vlog my trip over. That didn't happen, or it will partially happen. There's just no sound, so I had to go and get a another microphone. So that is once again why we are down to one microphone. Just like this, we were supposed to have two.
You have to share.
Hopefully for Anime Magic. Knock on wood. I don't think there's any wood right here.
Knock on some marble.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't kill the actual audio, but
Cheaper than O'Hare.
Yep. Straight up. But yeah, no, so hopefully for Anime Magic's review, we will have 2 microphones, so we won't have to keep passing it. You won't have to see me look like a dumbass trying to give it to me, give it to. So anyway, but yeah, no. So I get to the airport. I tell my wife, scratch that, because by the time you get here, the lines were almost out the door. Like they were straight up almost out of the airport. It was so bad, and I got there like 2 hours early for my domestic flight. And then as I'm waiting in line, a school, like a literal school of teenagers comes in, and the airport staff bumps them up in line. So, oh my God, that was a nightmare. I don't know what school it was. I honestly don't. But these were teenagers, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing. You guys knew you had whatever trip you were going to go on. Get there early. Like, I'm sorry, you know you have a big crowd. You're probably like booked the majority of the plane. You need to get there early, especially on a holiday weekend. Like, I'm sorry, you're a teenager. You are like 16, 17. You are old enough to know what time to wake up. You are old enough to know that you need to get somewhere early.
Modern day 2023, though. I mean, yes, that is the golden standard, but think about this realistically.
But yes, yeah, so that was fun. Almost didn't. I thought I wasn't gonna make it. I did end up breezing through security, so that was really good.
That was interesting when you talked about that because the amount of checking that they did.
Oh God, yeah, no.
That could have turned into an actual disaster.
They had bomb sniffing dogs out, so.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure we were good, but at the same time, traveling on holidays is gonna be fun, which is why.
Is that see no evil, do no evil?
Yeah, but that's also why I think we're gonna sidetrack for a moment. This is also why I think Holiday Matsuri is the week of Christmas because they really want to boot people out. Yeah, no. So the flight over was actually like pretty good, but because I forgot the microphones, I was scrambling. That's the only negative thing about this Momocon trip, and it's not even about the convention. It was literally I got here, realized I forgot a piece of equipment, had to run to Best Buy to get something. Which I ended up actually getting a cheaper Uber because of that. So yeah. Fun travel trip. Bleh, fun travel tip for everyone. Maybe don't get your Uber at the airport. Go a little bit farther. Go for a little bit of a walk past the airport, and then if you're able to, and then go somewhere. Grab the Uber there. And then Uber either to the hotel or somewhere close to the hotel because then the fare is cheaper. I saved on half of my trip because I did that. But anyway, you guys had a much longer ordeal. Tell me about that.
It was more of an adventure. So we drove.
Exactly.
I like driving. So there were 2 Buc-ee's that we came on part of our road trip because we drove down. I drove down from Wisconsin. I picked up Jacob in Chicago. And the entire trip took us about, I'll say, maybe 14, 15 hours. On Google, it takes about, they estimate it's going to take you about 13, but we stopped a couple times. Up here, there were some good vistas, especially in Kentucky. Or not Kentucky, Tennessee, where we were literally on top of, literal, mountain valley bluffs. And when you look, it was just...
I got here, I think I got here at 11 noon-ish.
On a Friday.
Yeah, on a Friday, which was, I actually came late. I came late for this convention because this is a 4-day convention. It started Thursday. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. These guys got to experience Thursday. I wish I was here Thursday. I really, really wish I was here Thursday, just because Friday was amazing. Today, when we're filming this, Saturday, amazing. Little crowded, little crowded. If you had to just come to this convention, you wanted to check out the sites, you wanted to get some voice actors, and you wanted to get it all done in a single day and not have to deal with all those crowds, Friday. Friday's the day to do it.
Thursday.
Friday or Thursday.
I would say
I wasn't here for Thursday, but Friday seemed like they had a lot of events going on that was still really cool. So I'm like, you know what? Because Thursday, from what I hear, it started at 2:00 and it went till 8. Whereas like today and Friday started, I believe, like regular con hours, so 10 to 7. 10 to
10 o'clock.
yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning to 7. I think if you want to come and get the most bang for your buck, Friday would be good because, you still get some main programming. You still get the majority of the voice actors. We actually saw the lava show. That was
by
fun.
accident?
That was by accident, but it was fun.
That was completely by accident, and that was some real opportune timing. I would vouch for Thursday if you're going for autographs, especially because they have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They have more than just the anime voice actors. They have people from Avatar, The Last Airbender here. They have people.
considered an anime at this point.
Depends on who you talk to, but it's more high-profile people. They're more recognizable, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, it's not bad that they're more recognizable. It's just that they're more. What is it? They're more S tier. So there's going to be a lot more people going for those people. And in terms of getting autographs, I would recommend Thursday if you can come down on that first day because the crowd is probably the smallest. So you can get in and go through your lines and.
People are still working.
Yep, people are still working, but the voice actors are here.
Yeah.
So Friday is a good day if you want to just take it all in. If you're specifically going to meet people, I would personally recommend doing the Thursday if it's possible. Yeah. Because you can knock a whole bunch of voice actors out, get their autographs, meet with them, and then you can do all the other events that this convention has to offer.
I agree. I wasn't here for Thursday, but I can vouch that the 2 days I've been here have been quite fulfilling. One thing I will note, though, the usage of the area itself is not exclusive to the convention, and that's actually kind of a good thing because that means there's a bunch of other stuff to do. So I know for a fact there was an Ed Sheeran concert going on at some point this week. I believe it might have been yesterday. Not sure. But there were also like a bunch of other things going on. Like there was a martial arts conference or something going on here, like I guess like a championship or something, because we saw a bunch of martial artists in the elevators, and we're on one of the offshoot hotels, so that's kind of interesting. So I wonder what all the other hotels have going on for them. But I think one of the best things I've seen compared to other conventions is the use of space, and just if you come down and you're just walking around, it's almost like an invasion of the nerds or the weebs at this point because, let's be real, it's an invasion of the weebs, and because the hotels are all so spread out all around over several miles, you see weebs like congregating in cosplay and everything all over. It's great. It's great. It's like you could be, a mile from the convention center and you'll still see people walking in cosplay. It's great. There's so many hotels, so we kind of don't have to worry about, not snagging a hotel because there's going to be something available, as far as I'm aware. Parking might be a separate issue, but that's entirely dependent on several factors. We saw a couple shenanigans go down, but what I am seeing, especially in the con center, especially where Dealers Hall and all that, there is so much space. We were at Anime Central last week. The difference that there is between this and ASIN, night and day. Absolute night and day. It feels bigger than ASIN. And I don't think the attendees are more than ASIN.
I don't think they are. I was talking to some folks today, and I think they were ballparking around 30,000, maybe 35,000.
Yeah, ballparking. Yeah,
so I could be wrong on that, but that's what they said. And ASIN usually pulls at least 50,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sometimes more. And but what I'm seeing, the venue feels bigger, but we feel like we have more space. The way that they've set up the convention, it's so efficient. I love it. Like we have an Itasha show going on in the main dealers hall. And the only convention I've ever seen that does that is Anime Magic.
And this one blows Anime Magic show out of the water. Instead of one set of cars, that's like maybe, okay, here's 10 cars. They have like, what, 40 cars here?
Something ridiculous.
They have a whole like block off section. And I want to say it's 4 like main like walkways. But in each walkway there are 2 rows of cars and 3 motorcycles.
Oh, yeah.
They had motorcycles.
Let me see that.
That was the first time I've seen a weeb motorcycle before.
Like, child me would have gone absolutely nuts. But anyway, yes, the usage of the space was absolutely astounding. So what they're doing for autographs and how they've actually placed their voice actors, I really like. They're doing what C2E2 does, where they have like a whole separate like section of the dealer's hall, which is purely for autographs, and there's enough space where you can have like the autographs and the guests and all of this, and then like over to the side there is there's the dealer hall, and there's enough space where you can actually move around and you're not going to hit anyone, and the lines were so efficient. Yeah. Like goddamn. And Tech Boy Jacob can tell us because he's our resident autograph getter.
Yeah, so the funny thing, they're giving so much space, like you said. There's even like a wrestling ring right next to the autograph.
Oh god, the
line,
wrestling ring, yes.
space.
Oh my god, the wrestling ring. That I loved. I'm sorry. The wrestling was so good. And I'm not a wrestling fan.
The things you see, I was not expecting that. You know what's funny too? Those autograph lines? Mm-hmm. There wasn't really many staff members that had to control people. Like there's maybe 1 or 2, but it just made sense. It was like common sense. Like I feel like conventions, and ASIN is not as big of an offender. I would bring up, of the ones that we've done so far, Amkey. They sometimes overcomplicate it.
I felt like Amkey actually was better than ASIN. But that's because I'm used to old ASIN.
Yeah, ASIN was fine. Because, I mean, I told the story about us meeting Rico.
Yeah.
ASIN, I had to ask questions. I do want to say just one thing. You can use it if you want. So Jacob just sent me a toilet Twitter. He sent me a toilet
Wait,
Twitter.
you're on Twitter?
No, I opened it up through a web link when he sent it to me, because he sent the Twitter link. So when you like, you know, did your research on like how to do stupid shit in Xenoblade and make broken builds, what YouTuber did you look up?
This one wasn't on YouTube. It was on Reddit.
Oh, so you didn't use YouTube. Okay.
Someone told, well, actually, okay. I forget. I think it was Enel. Enel talked about this Reddit exploit.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Enel.
he's the big YouTube guy.
Yeah, I know.
He's at this con.
Wait, what?
I'm in one of his photos from the photo shoot today.
I hate you so much.
I didn't even know it was him. I literally was standing away, like I don't watch much of his videos, but I'm like, oh.
I just saw a dude.
It was the dude in the suit.
I just saw a dude on Twitter posting these like pictures like photos. And I'm like, oh hey, look, there's Sean. Like, oh hey. Like,
I know this is
you
extra.
Send me this so that I can put this in the edit.
This will be extra, but yeah, I kind of conglomerate with my own group, but blowing up with my 1 bar.
See this shit.
Real 1 bar. It's going much slower this time.
Oh my god.
So there's bro. So he took this photo. Hey, that's me.
Oh shit. So is Enel this dude?
Yes.
Oh my god, he does not look at.
Yeah.
Oh,
he cleaned up.
Expected.
He cleaned up.
I know who Enel is.
Yeah, he cleaned up.
He's like the de facto Xenoblade YouTuber.
Yeah, he made his he made a killing when Xenoblade 3. Xenoblade 2 is where he got to start. When 3 came out, he's like, I'm making all the guides before everyone else, and his subs went.
Amazing.
Xeno Big Brain guy.
And I just don't want to look at them because I want to figure it out myself.
Guys, I got I think pizza's on the way.
All right, then.
So there's that little fun tangent. Back to where we were before. ASIN autograph lines.
Yes.
The way it worked, it wasn't as bad as they have done it better, but the way that there a couple times I've done it better, but it wasn't bad this past time because all I had to do was ask the staff one question: was there a line before the line to meet every single like siphoned off voice actor? And the guy was like, "Oh, if you mean just going to meet that guy, just walk right in and just go in." And it was super simple. At this convention, they had less staff members. You would just walk in to their little like siphoning area where you'd go behind the rope, and then each voice actor, they had their own like separate line. Except there was maybe like 3 times as many that Asen had. And people just followed the rules. You just got in line, you waited, and as long as you showed up at the predetermined times that the voice actor or actress was there, which was publicized both on the floor and in the official Momocon app, which you could literally preload and there's a full-blown app. It's not even like guidebook or anything. It's a full.
I didn't know there was an app.
It's a full-blown Momocon app. I mean, yeah, I'll pull out this shit again, but like.
That would have been nice for me to know earlier. I've just kind of been winging it.
Momocon. It's literally a full-blown app. It's all integrated. Now, you need a team, you need an app development team to do this. I mean, I don't know if Asen has these resources. I think they could if they looked. But this is way better than Guidebook.
Here, let me see.
It's cleaner. It looks more professional.
Very
easy to use.
I did not know this, but yeah, okay, that's amazing. So on to the topic of autographs. My opinion is, I think every convention should do what C2E2 does, and this convention, Momocon, does it like C2E2. So major props to that. But we're gonna touch on the staffing thing. Are you telling me that the con is actually well organized and efficient, and that if your staff is trained well enough and you actually like know how to run an event like this, it's not going to fall through the cracks and through the wayside and have problems? Looking at you, Asen.
The amount of times that staff was trying to tell people to show their badge, flip it around at the one checkpoint. They didn't need multiple checkpoints. They only needed one, which was the choke point to enter in the convention center.
Yeah.
They all knew what they were doing. They knew what to do if someone wasn't following the rules. They had the people that could take the, someone who was misbehaving out.
Prop check is right by that checkpoint.
Prop check.
That is amazing. I remember Asen and a bunch of other conventions with their prop check. I'll get to your story in a moment, I promise.
It's super
yeah. So I remember at this past Asen last week, so many people were so confused about prop check that they actually, at some point, Asen just stopped checking props, and people were like so confused. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Yeah, at some point, like people just brought in gigantic props that were totally not checked and everything. It went to shit. It went to shit. Anyway, here's your story.
And a complete 180 from that.
Yes.
I was in line for a prop check. It was a very small line, and they had an extra staff member looking at people's props in the line, and dude came to me, obviously saw this was just made of like light wood, and it was like all like, just filed away and stuff. He tagged it before I even got to the table. He's like, "You're good. Go on in." He even asked if I had my badge because I was having it dangle by the belt. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I got it." And he's like, "Yeah, you're good. Super easy. I didn't even have to wait in the line."
Speaking of badges.
Imagine that.
Speaking of badges, because I came late, these guys had their badges already. I think actually Jacob got his mailed.
Yeah, I got mine mailed.
Oh, okay. So you guys got yours mailed. So I was the only one that had to go to will call. And let me tell you, it was so painless. I was in and out in less than 2 minutes.
And it was noon.
And this was noon.
Hours.
This was main hours. This is when you would expect people to like come in. And even if you were just buying a badge day up, I saw the way that line was moving. So they have like a completely different section for that. But registration, easy to find, very easy to navigate. And vendors and everyone were coming in late and just grabbing their stuff and going in. It was amazing. It was so streamlined. It was so efficient. I love this convention. I love this convention so much. And this is my first time here, and we're not even done. We haven't even touched on half the shit we've done
We
here.
haven't even touched on the high points. These are just points. That
This
are
is
good.
this is the beginning.
That sucks because I went to Detour. You didn't make it to Detour.
I've wanted to go to Detour.
But I still think at a convention level, depending on the company that I was with, I think I still had a better time doing the logistics of a convention at Detour than I did at Asen. And that might also have something to do with the hotel logistics too. But yeah, thinking about all the conventions Asen is at the bottom as well. Not by much, but yeah, that's the least of all the ones I've been to so far this year. What good things do we want to touch on?
So before we touch on the good things, I'm going to actually talk about some logistics. So before the convention, I actually tried to reach out to a couple of guests because I run my own photography and videography business, and there were some YouTubers and influencers. I know everyone hates using that term. I reached out to a few of them to see if they would be interested in legitimately doing a free photo shoot, because these are people I have wanted to work with. I do this every convention. If there's someone that I would like, a social media person that I might have the potential to see there, just to throw out feelers. And you know what? If nothing comes of it, nothing comes of it. It's fine. But these are people that I would really, really like to work with. And so I reached out to a few people. I reached out to Caleb Hiles. I didn't realize until earlier that I forgot to reach out to Jonathan Young. So that's my fault, because I was really, really hoping Jonathan Young would want to do a photo shoot with Caleb and all of us, but Caleb unfortunately never got back to me, which is understandable. They're on tour right now. They're probably super busy. I reached out to one of the cosplayers that is working at their booth, and we tried to set something up. Just didn't happen. She reached out back to me. We talked. I talked to her at the booth. Very, very lovely. I have nothing but nice things to say about her. She's fantastic. I hope in the future to work with her, because I've actually followed her for years, and I would really love to work with her. It just didn't happen this time, and that's totally fine. And I think that when you go in expecting like just that, you know, if it happens, it happens. It's going to be a much smoother experience, especially because I try to preface this at all times when I'm reaching out to people like this. You know, there are no expectations. If your schedule doesn't work, or even if you don't want to work with me because I am essentially a nobody, and you also don't know me, I am a complete stranger, that is a perfectly valid thing. And I think that having that be like the case, having no expectations is the way to go. But I reached out to a few other people. I reached out to Jaxblade. Jaxblade never got back to me, which is also fair. You know, I did get to meet Jaxblade. Very wonderful individual, very fun. He was super chill. That was actually like within the first hour I was here. Because we ran over because Tech Boy Jacob wanted to get his autograph, and I didn't have anything to sign for Jaxblade. But I got a picture with him. Picture will be up here. But you know what? I want to say this to everyone, especially if you're like me, who's trying to run your own business. The only way you're going to make connections, especially at conventions or anything, where there's a chance for you to meet people who have a much bigger following or are just people you look up to in general, having no expectations when you meet them is going to be the way to go. And you just have to treat everything like kind of like you have to put your best foot forward. That's the best way to do it in my book, which is what I try to do every time. And you know what? I'm going to stop by Jonathan Young and Caleb's booth tomorrow. I'm going to talk to all of them. I took some photos at their concert tonight. I'm going to ask them if it's okay if I post them on my website and on my social media. If they say no, that's fine. I just keep them for myself. If they say yes, you know what? They'll be posted in the description of this video. But you know what? If nothing ends up coming of it, whatever. I got those memories. It's gonna be fun. I also got some free concert photography experience, which I've been looking to get into. So you know what? Win-win. And also the concert was dope. But yeah, I think that's one thing I wanted to mention ahead of time. I try to do that, but I only usually do it to like one or two. Momocon, I did it for a lot of people. And I'm just like, I don't know if all of them for some reason got back to me and said, hey, we'd like to do this. I was just like, oh God, the schedule would be a nightmare. But you know what? I'd make it work, because these are all people I would love to work with in the future. And Tech Boy Jacob has brought pizza.
One thing that we can put into simple terms on your whole explanation there is it's about having a conversation. I think when treating these folks, I got to meet the voice of Iroh from Avatar, and he told us about his adventures in Vegas. He was a talker. And I'm just like, it's just a matter of just like, these are people too. You don't want to come at them with like, oh, hey, I'm offering this product. Are you interested? Yeah. Or, hey, I do this as a side hustle. You just have a natural conversation. And even when you're meeting new friends, that's actually the way to go. The photo shoot I was part of today, same thing happened. We just
Yeah.
started talking about the same fandom that we were in, and suddenly we were all hunting for some sort of merch that we were trying to find in the vendor hall all together. Whereas an hour before, we had not even known each other, ever. It all starts with a conversation. Treat the other person you're talking to like a human being. It usually works out.
Yes. And honestly, one of the other things I'm going to bring up in this conversation is the parasocial relationship. I know more about these people than they know about me. And I think that's something that everyone needs to be aware of, something that you have to dampen your expectations because, again, these people, and even we're doing this ourselves, we're putting more of ourselves out here for people than, most others. And there's going to be a certain insight that comes with that. And, the thing is, most people are still strangers. And you never know. And I think when you go in with that mindset of, to these people, I'm a stranger. I need to put my best foot forward. I need to try and be different and not seem like I'm looking for something. And I hope I came across that way. But you know what? If they're just like, you know what? He gave me some weird vibes. I don't want to work with him. That's also totally fair. And I would not blame anyone for that. And I think when you come in with that expectation and you come in with that mindset, your chances of success and your chances of actually at some point being able to work and become friends with the people you admire go up dramatically. And I'm not saying that at some point I'm going to be friends with these people, but at some point I would love to work with them even on a one-off project or something. And being able to just have that opportunity is great. And I Momocon has been great for this so far.
Yeah, I have a story.
I got a better idea. Tech Boy Jacob is gonna come into my seats, repping the Digimon.
Yeah.
So take my seat. I'm gonna go over here.
Okay, what's your seat?
Swap.
Yeah.
Seat swap.
You have a story
Yeah,
to divulge with that little
am I
honky
looking at
honk
this one or
down
this
there.
one?
You're looking at just look at one of the two cameras over there. Just look in the general direction.
Okay, so I literally just went for like 10 minutes, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were talking
so 10 minutes, I go down the elevator, which, by the way, for the elevators here, you need a key card. Remember that.
Yep.
So-
Fancy.
Yeah, which
I
is
prefer that, honestly.
yeah, it's fine. And and my key card's jank. I accidentally bent it, but it still works. So hey, good key card. Yeah. So I go down the elevator. There's people getting ready for a rave, which they're here too, and there's people all dressed in white. There's some other party and other stuff going on here too. So it's getting pretty loud downstairs. And I'm waiting for the pizza, and then while waiting for like 5-6 minutes in, I noticed, so the roundabout, the rotunda roundabout thing,
yeah.
they blocked it off. It's literally blocked off with piles, with like pyres or pikes, something like that. Like literally no one can get in. So yeah.
Pizza guy.
Yeah, I got a call from the pizza person being like, "Hey, we're here." So, and I'm in the black Nissan. Like, okay, great. I'm not a car guy.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I should've gone down.
yeah, you should have gone.
Like, hey, there he is.
Yeah, I'm not a car guy. So I was talking to the person on the phone, and then she was asking what I look like. I was describing myself wearing a black tank top with like a purple stuff on it. And then there's a guy in the car who's like, "Are you Jacob?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then it's like he was delivering the pizza, so he's parked out. He's essentially just parked on the sidewalk, like just long ways, because like you can't get in the roundabout. So they just like he's parked, like he pulled in, he's on the sidewalk. He's not the only one. There's like 3 other cars doing that too.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and there's a group of people going to that tabernacle place, whatever, for the rave.
Yep. The
Yeah.
Senpai Squad sponsored wave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure for them. Yeah, but like either way, it's like they're like getting ready, and there's other people like all dressed out in white for like a party too, all getting ready. I'm like, they're all looking for Uber or something like that, or like I don't know what's going on, but they're waiting. I'm like, I don't think your ride's coming if they're blocking off the roundabout. I don't know what you're gonna do. Just yeah. So tidbit, I guess if you're here at the Hyatt for here in Atlanta, Georgia, if you're out late, you cannot pull in the roundabout. So good luck with that.
That's something they do every night?
I saw bits of it a couple nights before, but I wasn't too sure. But now this confirmed my suspicion. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it might be because they have a lot of events going on.
Yeah, there's like 3 things from what I can kind of see.
We were able to get in on that Thursday
Yeah.
after hours because we
Yeah.
checked in past midnight.
I think it's also because
So
there's
I
like
think-
3 different events going on right now too.
I think so too.
Alright.
That is so. We're just going to attribute that sound in the background to that sort of.
I'm guessing.
Whatever.
I'm guessing the party people got picked up. Is my guess.
We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to streamline this setup at some point, but
There's a lot.
we're using the poor man's setup for multicam.
I wouldn't say it's a poor man's.
No.
I don't think it's a poor man's. I think it's just an overcomplicated setup.
It is, but the thing is, in order to streamline it, I have to spend a little bit. I have to spend a lot more money. So there's a lot of other events going on, just like we mentioned earlier. One of them, Tech Boy Jacob and I signed up for. We came here to participate in a Digimon tournament regionals. Oh shit! I'm wearing a Digimon shirt. I didn't even realize.
And Sean wore a Xenoblade shirt for the Xenoblade meetup.
That's true. But yes, so Jacob and I went to play Digimon for a little bit today. We only did a couple rounds because we're not able to stay for the whole tournament because the tournament goes into tomorrow. And honestly, this is our first time doing a big tournament like this. I think we had something like 300 people, right? 350 people. So we were literally just doing this just to have fun. Met some great people, and I had a photo shoot before this. And so I go in with all of my gear because it ran a little late. Still made it to first round. Get in there. All my opponents were super chill. I ended up handing out more business cards at the Digimon tournament than I do normally at the conventions. And people were like asking me like, "Oh, are you here doing video?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm a photographer." And they're like, "Yo, that's so sick." And it's like, yeah, it's like, actually, you know what? My buddy is getting married or something. Do you travel? I'm like, yeah, I do. So I handed out business cards. I just kept handing them out to people. It was amazing. Like even like my opponents, and we used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. The difference in sportsmanship and just demeanor that these players have in the Digimon community, it is so vastly different from Yu-Gi-Oh. In a good way. In a very good way. I want to do more Digimon tournaments like this. We go to locals, but like coming to these big events from when we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh was always kind of iffy. But this event was run really well. The people here were amazing, and they were super friendly. I loved it. I think Jacob enjoyed it as well, although he was a little upset about his matches. Yeah, the only thing was people were vaping when they shouldn't, which you just avoid those people. It's fine. Dealer's room. I love the dealer's room. Artist Alley is where I spent the most money, and I probably would have spent more if I had more, but I am on an educator's budget, which it means I'm on a very, very thin budget since it's the end of the year. And I think my last paycheck comes in like 2 weeks or something. So that's going to be fun. I still got to find a summer job. Who knows? Maybe YouTube will work out by then. Probably not.
Dealer's room is like a TARDIS.
I thought you said that was Artist Alley.
The Artist Alley is part of the dealers. It's all in one big room.
One's nice.
It
Bigger on the inside.
it just keeps going.
It's amazing.
I thought that Asen was big. This makes Asen look like peanuts. It kept going and going, and then I'm like, oh, I'm getting towards the end. Cause I did a quick like run through towards the end of Friday because we were on time crunch, and I'm like, I'll just keep. Should be fine. That should be the end of the whole row. And then I went back and I'm like, oh god, there's 2 more rows. All right, let me run through those. There is 1.5 more rows after that. Holy shit.
Oh, actually, give me a minute.
Holy shit.
I'm gonna cut it for
Huge.
Oh, and the in-between spaces.
Yes, the in-between spaces. But here's the other thing. It was so big that we didn't realize until today that some of our friends who do artist alleys had some of their workers here running a offshoot booth. Yep. So we're friends. So I used to do artist alleys, and I know a couple people that are really big in some of the convention scenes now, and they're very, very nice. We love talking to them every time. I didn't know that they were having a booth here because they're a married couple, but they have separate artist names. I did not know they were there. Now, granted, they themselves as the artists were not here. They had some of the workers here because I think they said they were doing 4 different cons this weekend,
Yep.
which, that's par for the course for Artist Alley. But yeah, it was so big we didn't see them until the absolute end. And these guys do some of our favorite work. At some point, I think we have half their catalog.
You do. I got it.
I do, and they just keep expanding.
I got like a quarter of it.
Yeah.
I got limited wall space.
In case anyone ever wonders, we spend a lot of money on art.
Oh, it's fine.
Not as much as the furries, but I feel like at some point we give them a run for their money.
What's funny is that a lot of the art isn't even that expensive when it comes down to it. Most prints are just $20 flat.
That's true, but
That's very cheap.
But considering how many we buy,
Right, but when you buy in bulk, you actually get offered deals. They start,
true.
dropping in price. Like that one vendor today where you,
we're not talking about my bad decisions today.
you just like, oh look, Sean, look, there's a Xenoblade one there, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that's an insta buy. And then we go down a few more booths later, then Zach just goes, and I'm like, oh, is this it? Is this it? Oh. Those were some happy vendors, by the way. You were like,
Yeah, here, give me that. Give me that for a minute. We're not here to talk about my bad decisions today.
yes, we are. If I get to talk about mine, we're talking about yours because you dropped way more money on a single booth.
Yeah, come here. He's not wrong. I actually don't know how my finances are going to look after this.
That's okay. I'm not looking at my bank until I get back home. All I know is that I'm going to be digging into some secret pockets because this convention, I think, is probably going to be the most expensive I've ever done.
Actually, yeah. Speaking of, I do think that if you're coming to Momocon, you should have a lot of disposable income, and I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, with conventions, the general rule of thumb that I like to tell people is however much money you think you need for the convention, multiply that by 1.5. And that should give you a pretty good budget for the convention. For Momocon, I'm gonna say double it. Double what you think you're gonna need. And even then you might still be a little short. I don't quite know if everyone else would feel the same way. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think my rule of thumb has always been bring some money to blow, bring some cash, because we might have touched on this before, but sometimes it's cheaper if you pay in cash versus card because card has service fees. Sometimes their square readers don't even work. So having some cash money is really helpful for bulk purchases.
Square readers is because conventions are cheap or not even.
Well,
cheap,
I've seen some of the fanciest square readers at this convention. I've also seen some of the most basic, and it's a far range. But that's not important. Important thing is having the budget and the finances. And my rule of thumb is always this, and not everyone can follow it, but if you have the money without going into crazy debt, it's worth buying the thing because you don't know if it's ever going to come back. Especially if it's something like a voice actor or something, or an autograph. Because those cost money too now. I don't think we're in the world of free autographs anymore, quite frankly.
That's unfortunate.
So you have to budget that into your finances as well. As just memories and being able to do the things you want, buying the food, especially at a new place. You don't know how much food is going to cost. Thankfully, here at Atlanta, things are actually relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Food courts around here, and then me and Jacob actually popped by a pop-up hot dog vendor to get a quick snack, and that very nice people. I think it was their local side hustle, cheaper than the convention food as it usually is, but all that combined, and with all the different vendors in the hall, money was dropped. Lots of money.
Money-wise, I definitely think it's going to be something where you have to be very conscious. If you're on a budget, you really are going to... I say this for all conventions. You need to prioritize certain things. So, for me, I personally don't see a point in autographs, except for, maybe your absolute favorite characters or anything, or maybe there's a favorite series. For me, I'm gonna try and get my Fate Zero box signed by everyone, and I'm gonna try and get Code Geass signed by everyone. Those are the only two. But the other thing is, Tech Boy Jacob is an autograph hunter. He goes and he gets all the autographs. But you know what? That everyone's got different things. You got to budget appropriately. But yes, one of my absolute favorite things about this place is how open the cosplay areas are. So there's multiple cosplay areas here where you can take photos. Funny story, I actually ran into an issue during my paid shoot, but go with the flow. And because there was so much space that we could use, it was a non-issue. It was so easy, and just the venue itself, even if you're just getting regular like hallway shots out by the entrance or out by where the photo area is, because they have a designated photo area, which is very nice. Like, that in itself is still so good. I wish other conventions did that, because ASIN doesn't do that. Anime Milwaukee kind of does it, but the way they run their photo ops, it's in this weird space with really terrible lighting, whereas everything over here was natural lighting. And I mean, we had to deal with the sun, so there were some downsides, but all in all, it looked very nice. It was so easy, and even after hours, people were still out and about. It looked so fun. Everyone looked like they were having a good time. There's so many amazing cosplays, and if I wasn't lugging my gear around all day, I would still be outside taking photos, as you're well aware. On top of that, if we didn't have our room so far away, I would have been taking more photos. I didn't take nearly as many photos of cosplayers just in the hall as I would have liked. But that's unfortunate. I had to make some decisions today. Sacrifices were made. But if I come back, I'm gonna be getting a lot more photos of that aren't paid shoots. But yes, and that's kind of what these videos are about, to help people prepare, because we're living the experience right now, and this is one of the better experiences we've had at a convention this year, as as we mentioned before. How about you, Sean? For the cosplay, because you went to the Xenoblade meetup. Tell us about that.
The first Xenoblade meetup that was ever put together, and it was put together by a fan. I actually talked to the guy who put it together, because I'm like, no one else has done this. And this is a big con, like roughly that 30,000, 35,000 people. And everyone else that came to that photo shoot, they were like, no one ever puts these on. We're like a small, happy, proud community, which has its ups and downs. We don't get the recognition, but then we also don't have a lot of the toxicity. So it's kind of nice having it being both. So I got to partake in that.
I don't think the voice actress would agree with you, but
well, that's a different ballpark right there. Yeah, we don't. This is in person. We're all having fun. We're bringing prompts together. Like, I saw some things that I'm like, oh my God, finally. No more like big mainstream photo shoots. We have a small, localized, something that's geared toward a specific fandom, and it's not too big, and you get to meet new people. I got to hang out. There's a new Discord now that I'm a part of that was put together by me and 3 other guys. Basically, it was added so that we could stay in contact, because I'm still working my way through game number 3, and I haven't even started the expansion of 3. And shit just hits the fan. And 2 of the guys that were in that group, they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna spoil, but we definitely want your reactions once you get past chapter 5." And that's why the Discord was made. It was fun. Nice. And then I can't remember if I touched on this before.
You were also the only Shulk too.
I was the only Shulk. There's a lot of Xenoblade 3. There were 2 reps from Xenoblade 2. There was Rex and Nia. Well, technically there were 3 spoilers. There was a child. Nia used the child as a weapon. It was pretty funny. But it was super nice, getting to meet those folks. And going back to venue, they held the photo shoots literally by registration, where it's got that big open space. So you don't have to deal with going to a random panel room. I was thrilled when I found out it was there, because I'm like, shit, I have to go down and maybe find the specific panel room or specific area. No, it's literally at the entrance.
It's so easy to find. It's so
at the entrance.
Big and spacious, and it is just Oh, it's so efficient.
Yep.
That's
It's
the
efficient.
main thing about this con. It's efficient.
And this wasn't even run by a staff member. This was a fan that put it together, and they just had someone who had access to the Google Drive. That was a lot of fun to be a part of. Other than that, at least the experience kind of walking in some of the venues around, like there's the Olympic Park that we cut through and go through, and it's a really nice place. I want to say it was 1986 was when Atlanta had the Olympics. That's what I believe the sign said. So they built this whole structure in the area. So as we're walking to the convention, we walk through it, and it's just kind of fun seeing the regular folk, and then the nerds, and then everyone else just kind of walking through it. It's kind of like a big cultural event sort of deal.
Speaking of Olympic Park, may I?
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah. So, little side note about Olympic Park for all you cosplayers and photographers. I was informed today during one of my photo shoots that you need a permit to take non-tourist photos over there. So if you're just there to get like photos of yourself like in front of, you know, maybe the Ferris wheel or something, they're not gonna bother you. Me, with all my equipment, I got stopped by one of the police officers, and he just told me, "Hey, do you guys have a permit?" I'm like, "No, sir. I'm from out of town. Did not know this required a permit." And he very nicely explained that this was not a public park, and because of that, it was owned by the city and a bunch of other. There was a lot of other stuff going on, so I guess like the IT department or something looks for like professional photos that are done because it's copyrighted or something, something along those lines. But told us we couldn't be there. I'm like, no problem. And this is usually my policy, where it's like if we get stopped and it said we need permits, just leave. Just be nice. And I think he was very surprised because I'm like, you got it, boss. I'm out. We'll find somewhere else. Thank you so much. We were not aware of this. I think one of the clients was trying to like argue and be like, but other people, I'm like, it's fine. We can go somewhere else. There's plenty of other places. It's not worth getting ourselves into trouble. And on top of that, if this guy is letting us, is kind enough to let us off with a warning and just be like, you know what, if you guys leave, you're fine. And he seemed very surprised that like I, as the photographer, was very much like, you got it, boss, we're out. And he was just like, oh, okay, thank you so much. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're good. And so we went, found another space, just as good. We actually got some better photos, in my opinion. And it worked out. And that's kind of the thing. Being able to go with the flow, especially at a convention like this, has been just kind of amazing. And I think even, like, I thought I did my research ahead of time. Did not know that was a thing. And I can sit here and preach, like, oh, do your research, make sure you know all of these things ahead of time. Sometimes something slips through like this. And, you know, it happens. You just got to roll with it. But tidbit for everyone, if you're taking your touristy photos, you're fine. Do not take any professional photo shoots over to Olympic Park. You will get stopped by the police. If you do want to try it and you get stopped, I'm going to just say this right now. Just be nice. You know, people are only doing their job, and you know what? It's not worth getting into massive trouble over a cosplay photo or any type of photo. Exactly. If you really want to do a shoot in the park, just in case anyone was curious about that and why I'm probably not going to be tagging the location of that, that's why. So we talked about a lot of stuff so far. One of the things that I was looking forward to was the concert. So we've got several YouTube musicians here. We'll have a full list at some point listed. But the people that I was really, really interested in, because I've been following them for years, Jonathan Young and Caleb Hiles. And now Jacob and I, Tuckboy Jacob and I, have actually seen Caleb Hiles perform before. We've seen him perform at MatsuriCon a couple years ago, actually. MatsuriCon is actually a convention that we were at once. It was a wonderful experience, minus the flight, but that's another story. But not part of the convention, but yes. And so we knew what to expect, and there were apparently two concerts. There was the YouTuber concert, which was, I believe, Thursday night, or Thursday morning, something like that. What was it for you guys?
The YouTube concert for the Thursday, that was 8:30, yeah. And even the management of that was really good, considering that was first day. Like I don't want to like go back to the management thing or dwell on it too long, but you know how line management can get really terrible.
Especially for concerts, yeah.
Yeah, this, and again, I think this is just a benefit of the extra space that we all had. They had a huge line waiting to go into the actual room that was holding the concert, and they just had the line.
Started going in.
Well, and even like the lining up ahead of time, there was just enough space to where they had them go up against the wall, and then they had it loop around to the other side, and no fire hazard, and they were able to accommodate all those people. There's a lot that you can do with the extra space.
So yeah, but because Ason's concerts always kind of like a fire hazard, but honestly, we asked a couple of times because a lot of people were very confused on where the concert was. Staff and everyone was so kind and so.
They had info booths.
Yeah, the info booths.
Info booths.
They did. That was wonderful. And honestly, when we went and asked, because I went and asked if it was okay to take photos. And they're like, yeah, there's only 2 concerts you can't do, which is Hololive and something else, which makes sense because Hololive and another group, which I think have like very specific exclusive contracts that say you can't. One of the VTuber things, which is fair. But even Jonathan Young and them were like, we would let you. I'm not sure about the venue, but you can ask. And so I did. They got back to me, said, yeah, the only 2 concerts you can't do are Hololive and something else. But Jonathan Young and them should be fine. So I went, took photos with these guys. Well, these guys went and actually listened. I took photos. That was amazing. Concert was amazing. Yeah, but also they were able to direct us very well into the auditorium, even though like most of us didn't know where it is. They had signs everywhere, like set up beforehand that weren't there this morning. That just guided you to the auditorium where they were going to perform. And there was a lady there. They had a booth outside. It was wonderful. It was so easy. It was so painless to get through and get to the concert and to actually find seats. Performance was amazing. Everything was so good. Sound was good. Which, I mean, it's an auditorium. I kind of expect that for that. It had a stage.
I was going to say the YouTube concert that we did on Thursday, the only negative I would have to say about it is that the sound was not so good, but it also wasn't in an auditorium.
It's actually super late here. We're well past midnight here.
I got 2 things because we've been talking
Yeah.
positives.
You've got some negatives.
Not for the con itself, but if we're prepping people for this, especially this particular convention, there are a couple things to look out for.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. So first thing looking out for, especially if you've got a hotel that's not close to the convention center itself, the walking. So there's a lot of peddlers out. They know that this convention is happening. They actually advertise it on the lampposts all over the place. We ran into several. You were there for that guy, but I've been stopped at least 5 times. People asking for money or trying to like sell me something. And one thing you just have to, prepare is just you got to have that cold shoulder because most of the time they're looking for free handouts.
May I take that for a moment?
Sure.
Just for one moment. So because of all the peddlers, I would highly recommend if you're coming from a long way to your hotel to the convention, travel with a group. Travel with a group. People are less likely to bother you, and if someone does bother you, you've got safety in numbers. But also be aware of your surroundings, people. Like, please, if you're in a place that you're not familiar with, or if you're in some place that's a little sketchy, where maybe someone might come up and talk to you that you don't want, have an escape route, have someone there to help you. Be ready. That we don't want anyone getting hurt. We don't want anyone having bad things happen to them. Please be aware of your surroundings. Please be safe.
Yep. And they will try to suck you in and be like, oh, nice costume and all that. One of my favorite go-tos is basically if they ask you for money, be like, oh, I only carry card. Yeah. And they can't use card. They're literally looking for, dollars, like actual tangible cash. I had one guy ask, ooh, I need, $3 for an Uber, my wife or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And he was holding like this busted up MacBook. It was kind of wild. So if you're walking, just be aware that is a thing. And just have a couple of responses ready. I have a public scooter system where if you scan the QR code, it activates, and I'm sure it costs maybe $4 a ride or something. But I'd be tempted to try that out later at a future time. No one knows how to drive a scooter around here. I did enjoy seeing Mario on the scooter though. Like that was pretty entertaining. But there is a public scooter transit system. Yes. So you just have to be vigilant. And what Zach brought up is good. You know, get and this is a good thing to come on that first day if you've never been here before. Come on that first day if you're not, you know, adept at picking up on your surroundings fast. Just get the lay of the land. Like we had our classic, okay, me and Jacob figured out where the convention center was from the Hyatt. We take a right at the Hooters if we're going to the convention center and we're coming back. We just keep going down the blocks until we see the Hooters and then we take a left when we're trying to get back to the Hyatt. So waypoints, doing that and just sticking with your people. That's one thing to look out for. Lots of walking. My shins.
And you're the runner in the group.
I know. My shins. So much walking.
I'm not even gonna say anything because I'm.
Get the Omni. The Omni Hotel seems to be the hotel that's the main attraction for this convention.
Yes.
It's the one that's closest to it. That's the go-to.
Yes.
I can't comment on the quality of it, but based on the few times that we kind of walked through or
Yes.
passed through, it looked pretty nice. But that's one thing to look out for if you're planning on doing a convention like this. But yeah, my only big negative was pretty much the peddlers. So watch out for that. It has nothing to do with the convention itself, but they know it's happening. So they're going to try and take advantage of the people who don't have as much of a cold shoulder as some of us.
I would say every hotel here has their advantages and disadvantages. As Sean has pointed out, the Omni is going to be the closest one, which is what a lot of people are going to try to get. But if you like walking, there are some other hotels that might be of interest to you, might have certain amenities that maybe the Omni doesn't have or whatnot. I'm perfectly okay with the Hyatt for the most part. But if we did manage to get a little bit closer next time, I think that's fine. I legitimately do not have any negatives. I have had a wonderful experience here. I cannot wait to come back. I highly, highly recommend this convention to everyone. And like I said earlier, I believe this is probably going to be my number one convention for the year. And that is saying a lot. And I really, really want to see a lot of things from this convention implemented into others back home. And maybe this is the catalyst that I needed to kind of start branching out into other state conventions because I've hung out mostly in the Midwest, aside from the one time where we went to Ohio for MatsuriCon. And that was a wonderful experience. I think it's time to start checking out some of these bigger conventions that are around because I know I've wanted to check out some conventions in California. I've wanted to check out a couple in DC. I hate the city of DC, but I am more than willing to come for an anime convention. And to be perfectly honest, I have wanted to try Anime North in Canada. So I feel like this convention has kind of opened the doors for us as a group to move on outside of our comfort zone of the Midwest, where everybody at some point knows each other. We know a lot of the big cosplayers from the Midwest. We know a lot of the vendors that make the rounds. We ran into a bunch of them here. We ran into our boy Animator. We ran into Lucid Sky and Jimbo and well, not them personally, but we ran into their booths.
And the guy I like.
Yeah, Iron Pinky. At some point, if you stay in one area of the country too long, you're gonna start seeing a lot of familiar faces. Things eventually, get pretty bland and become normal. And at some point, you're gonna have to branch out. And I feel like at this point, I feel like this convention was a good way for us to branch out because you've started coming to more conventions that are outside of the comfort zone. And while I enjoy certain parts of Texas, I don't think I'll be going anytime soon. Just like I will not be going to Florida, even though I really want to go to Holiday Matsuri. However, I do want to go to Canada. I do want to go to Canada to check out Anime North. I would very much love to try a couple conventions in California. Momocon has been a wonderful experience. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And I hope to be back in the very near future. And with that, I think I'm going to pass this over to Sean for some final words. And then with that, we will do our outro. So, Sean. Last words.
Bring your checkbook.
That's a good one.
Bring your checkbook. Again, you pretty much covered it, but to put it into more of like a blanket statement,
Bring
like
deodorant. Extra deodorant.
extra deodorant. We are in the classic. It is warmer down here, but it's a class. There's a reason why this is here in the backdrop.
I had to reapply deodorant 3 different times.
Well, same for us, but a lot of other people at this con could also do the same. It's your classic, there's a couple stinkers. But coming to a convention like this, it really sets the stage for, what a convention could be like or what we expected. Like, I think we got accustomed to ACEN kind of going downhill, and we voiced our gripes about it.
Yes.
But we're also like, well, it's not the worst thing in the world. I guess it's sort of fine. And maybe they're counting on that, because then when you go to one like this and you go, oh, no, we're getting ripped off up there. We're actually getting ripped off compared to how we're being treated down here. It shifts things into a different perspective. So the whole branching out, that's definitely a goal that I would encourage everyone to do if it's financially possible, because you just get a variety more experiences. And again, my personal that I can bring to the table here, this was the first Xenoblade meetup I think that has ever been put together for a smallish fan community like that. I don't think that would ever happen in the Midwest anytime soon. So come to Momo, bring some money, have a good time. It'll be fun.
I concur with everything that Sean has just said. And you know what? I think my final words are just going to be, I look forward to next time.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video is probably longer than any of the previous ones that I've done. I really appreciate you sticking around for all of this, and I really appreciate your support. If you like what we do, please leave a like, please subscribe, and if you would like to tell us your own stories about Momocon or the conventions near you, please let us know in the comments. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Monado Buster! Ah!